Why alien life would be our doom, the great filter. Yeah, we've watched all these before. I've given you guys my thoughts on these before, and people weren't yelling at me as much before when I covered all of this. And said the exact same things I'm going to say now that I've been saying today. All civilizations eventually become so advanced and insane like a 38-month sub. Coming in hot. Think of the weirdest, most disgusting fish living at the bottom of the ocean. Aliens would be 10x, like 10x more unrelatable to us compared to that. Not even 10x, a million x. Like my assumption my assertion is that it's not even comprehensible by like our feeble peasant-brained minds. Like, it's not even shapes and colors or feelings. It's something beyond that. No, they are bipeds and they want to date. Especially because it is that far for us to be able to map out space travel that requires our bodies to somehow evolve. I'm thinking about it from the perspective of like what it would take for human beings to traverse space, the final frontier. Like what would it take for us to be able to fucking fly into space and go to a different galaxy. Okay? And it is impossible with current technology and current biology. It's just not something that we can do within a human lifespan as it stands currently. We can't do that. That's why our imagination usually stops with, oh, well, what if we are able to preserve ourselves like through cryogenic freezing or something and then traverse through space for hundreds of years. You know what I mean? Oh, dude. Stop. Take a day off, Motorface. Jesus Christ. You've just been spamming bird shit, Congress bird shit over and over again. I don't know what's going on. At light speed, time slows down. If we could go light speed, we could travel as far as we want and it will feel quick. You're only viewing this through the lens of physically traveling that distance as opposed to maybe some species out there found some cheat code for physics that we can't conceive of yet. Fine. But that in and of itself is still incredibly not likely for them to be humanoid or have the same biological constraints that we have. Like you're talking about going in through like potentially a black hole and teleporting elsewhere. Like a wormhole, right? Which is crazy. That's like, we can't do that. At least with our current understanding. Time doesn't slow down for us at light speed, chatter. For perspective, the nearest galaxy, the Andromeda, is about 5 million light years away. Light itself would take 5 million years. Yeah, one competing theory is that life does exist elsewhere. It existed many, many years ago, and we haven't seen it, and we will never see it. That's the whole filter concept, isn't it? Because like so much of the universe hasn't even come to us yet. Like we can't even perceive it because it's so far in the distance. That we haven't even been able to perceive it, even though technically it's happening right now. But it will take millions of years for us to even experience it from where we're standing. No particle with mass can even travel at the speed of light, but space can expand and contract at any arbitrarily fast speed, so we would have to move the space around us for this to be possible for our biology. Or we develop new methods of tapping into what we consider our consciousness and are able to upload it into something that transcends beyond our physical bodies. But again, not something that we have evolved into technologically with our current understanding of, with our current limitations of biology, with our current understanding of the human mind or the human psyche or human biology in general, which is why I'm trying to say over and over again that if a species, okay, were to have been able to solve this problem, they would be so fucking advanced that A, they would not look at us like we are actual equals or peers or even animals to be studied, okay? They would, like, we would be nothing but a speck, I think, or we would be nothing but bacteria, I think, in their eyes, okay? And also, on top of that, I don't think that they would resemble anything that we've ever seen before or anything that we can even see. They would be literally, like, they would be so far beyond our comprehension that it wouldn't even be a it wouldn't even be like a shape or a size or anything like that. Is this not your human bias? No, this is the exact opposite of human bias. I'm saying that, like, if aliens do exist, which is very likely because the universe is infinite, it is beyond human comprehension. It is a human bias to assume that you would be able to perceive such a fucking deity-like form of existence, that you could even see their presence, that you could sense it somehow. That is the human bias. The notion that, like, they're going to be humanoid and fuckable is the maximum human bias. The notion that they absolutely do not exist is the other side of the human bias. The assumption that you are the only important organism on the planet that has developed consciousness and tool using and civilization building. I know I shouldn't say this, but can you chill a little? So angry. I'm not even angry. I mean, I don't know. Look, I'm a Joe Rogan Experience, OG Joe Rogan Experience fan, okay? Long before I was serving top of the hour ad breaks, I was watching Joe Rogan talk to these experts. I've thought about this kind of stuff for a very long time. So I'm just, I'm talking about that exact same perspective that I held on to for a very long time, over and over and over again. And, I'm meeting a new, meeting new people that think I'm stupid. Sounds like copium, to be honest. You don't know their motivations or what they even are, just categorically deciding that they're beyond understanding or that they don't want to be detected. Brother, you can't possibly tell me that a carbon-based life form or any kind of life form that is like that is perceivable in the physical space, that has captured technology, that has evolved beyond evolved beyond us so much, is able to be caught by the human eye or even captured, like their biological matter, their biologics are able to be captured by the American military. Like, that seems fucking so insane. That seems way more insane than the top of the hour coming and going and me forgetting to run the ad break. I'll tell you that much. There's no reason to believe that alien existence would have to defy the laws of physics. That's an even more extraordinary claim. Defy the laws of physics in order for them to come here from such a distant future that we can't even fucking perceive them with our current conventional methods of looking into space, that yes, they will have defied the laws of physics as we understand it. Also, half of the testimony on your side from these fucking pilots is that they're defying the laws of physics. So what the fuck are you talking about? Like, so you don't agree with the pilots either? Like, what are you talking about? Please read this. Chat, the notion that reality is exactly the way that humans have come to discover, organize, and explain in our species' existence is laughable. Our supposed unbreakable laws of physics, unpassable speed of light, known periodic table of elements, etc. Our only basis for these is our own human observations by definition, yet we extrapolate it to the entire universe, including parts we haven't even observed yet. I mean, we haven't even mapped out 90% of the fucking seas, okay? Which take up a lot of space on this earth, okay? The idea that, like, we know and can comprehend what the fuck's going on up there in the infinite, vast universe is so stupid.
NASA announced today that they found aliens. Bacteria on Mars, weird alien fish in the oceans of Europa, and also ancient alien ruins on Titan. Wouldn't that be great? Well, no, it would be horrible news. Devastating even. It could mean that the end of humanity is almost certain and that it might be coming soon. Why? Why would the most exciting discovery of our lifetime be bad?
You cannot reason with chatters who want to fuck aliens. I am a chatter who wants to fuck aliens. That's the most frustrating part about this.
Let us imagine the development of life from its inception to us today.
My guy, convergent evolution is a well-known understanding. Intelligent life would probably evolve to a humanoid. You sound crazier than the truthers. Okay. That chatter wants to fuck aliens. Okay, 100%. This chatter undoubtedly wants to fuck aliens, like, so bad that he is now, he's like, no, there's no other type of existence. Chatty's right. There's no reason why evolution and life would work any differently on another planet. I don't agree with that. But also, even if that was the case, then it is physically impossible for them to travel here. So that plays into my theory. Great argument. This guy wants to fuck aliens. Well, I mean, I do too. Literally German propaganda. They're going to tell us the aliens like laissez-faire neoliberalism.
As a flight of stairs. The first step is dead chemistry that needs to assemble itself into self-replicating patterns, stable and resilient, but also able to change and evolve. The second step is for our early life to become more complex, able to build more complicated structures, and use the available energy much more efficiently. On the next step, these cells combine to become multicellular beings, enabling unbelievable variety and further complexity. The step above sees the species of
molecular biologists here that chatter is wrong. Convergent evolution is a thing, but that absolutely does not mean that a humanoid form is the best suited for civilization. I mean, it's like I would doubt that it's even the best suited for our civilization on this planet, let alone another planet with entirely different forms that you could consider life that just doesn't look or feel or is even not perceivable. It's not physically impossible, bro. It's just highly unlikely. No, it's not just highly unlikely. For us right now, if we somehow found some fucking technology, we still would not be able to go to an area where we believe there's other forms of life. Like we would perish in the process. I don't understand why this is such a debatable subject. Shadows are stupid. Gravity, oxygen levels, and water would affect their evolution. Sea creatures are totally different from land and avian. I know. Like there's already so much variation through species on Earth, and that's all considered life.
Evolve big brains, enabling the use of tools, culture, and shared knowledge, which creates even higher complexity. The species can now become the dominant life form on its planet and change it according to its needs. First, shy attempts to leave its planet are happening. This is where we are now. It's in the nature of life as we know it to reach out, to cover every niche it can. And since planets have a limited carrying capacity and lifespan, if a species wants to survive, it will look for more places to spread to. So the steps above the current ones seem logical. Colonize your own solar system, then spread further to reach other stars. To the possible final step, becoming a galaxy-wide civilization. It's very likely that this is a universal principle for civilizations, no matter where.
Having only 2 legs is dumb. Something like an ant with hands to better build. Yes, human beings, weren't human beings also like evolved as bipedal, but ultimately, like it's better for us to be on all fours? Am I wrong about that? I'm so glad not your average African disabled links right now. Someone just sent alien porn. That's insane.
Where they're from. If a species is competitive and driven enough to take control over its planet, they'll probably not stop there. We know that there are up to 500 billion planets in the Milky Way, at least 10 billion Earth-like planets. Many have been around billions of years longer than Earth. But we're observing 0 galactic civilizations. We should be able to see something, but there's nothing. Space seems to be empty and dead. This means something is preventing living things from climbing the staircase beyond the step we're on right now. Something that makes becoming a galactic civilization extremely hard, maybe impossible. This is the Great Filter, a challenge or danger so hard to overcome that it eliminates almost every species that encounters it. There are 2 scenarios. One means we are incredibly special and lucky. The other one means we are doomed and practically already dead. It depends on where the filter is on our staircase. Behind or ahead of us. Scenario 1. The filter is behind us. We are the first. If the filter is behind us, that means that one of the steps we passed is almost impossible to take. Which step could it be? Is life itself extremely rare? It's very hard to make predictions about how likely it is for life to emerge from dead things. There is no consensus. Some scientists think it develops everywhere where the conditions are right. Others think that Earth might be the only living place in the universe. Another candidate is the step of complex animal cells. A very specific thing happened on this step, and as far as we know, it happened exactly once. A primitive hunter cell swallowed another cell, but instead of devouring it, the 2 cells formed a union. The bigger cell provided shelter, took care of interacting with the environment and providing resources, while the smaller one used its new home and free stuff to focus on providing a lot of extra energy for its host. With the abundant energy, the host cell could grow more than before and build new and expensive things to improve itself, while the guest became the powerhouse of the cell. These cells make up every animal on the planet. Maybe there are billions of bacteria-covered planets in the Milky Way, but not a single one, apart from us, has achieved our level of complexity. Or intelligence. We humans feel very smart and sophisticated with our crossword puzzles and romantic novels, but a big brain is, first and foremost, a very expensive evolutionary investment. They are fragile They don't help in a fistfight with a bear, they cost enormous amounts of energy. And despite them, it took modern humans 200,000 years to get from sharp sticks to civilization. Being smart does not mean you get to win automatically. Maybe intelligence is just not so great, and we're lucky that it worked out for us. Scenario 2. The filter is ahead of us. Plenty of others died already. A great filter before us is orders of magnitude more dangerous than anything we encountered so far. Even if a major disaster killed most of us or threw us back thousands of years, we would survive and recover. And if we can recover, even if it takes 1,000,000 years, then it's not a great filter, but just a roadblock to an eventual galactic civilization. On universal timescales, even millions of years are just the blink of an eye. If a great filter really lies before us, it has to be so dangerous, so purely
This is why I don't like the great filter. It's like it's not fun to think about.
devastating and powerful that it has destroyed most, if not all, advanced civilizations in our galaxy over billions of years. A really daunting and depressing hypothesis is that once a species takes control over its planet, it's already on the path to self-destruction. Technology is a good way to achieve that. It needs to be something that's so obvious that virtually everybody discovers it, and so dangerous that its discovery leads almost universally to an existential disaster. A large-scale nuclear war, nanotechnology that gets out of control, genetic engineering of the perfect superbug, an experiment that lights the whole atmosphere on fire. It might be a super-intelligent AI that accidentally or purposely destroys its creators. Or things that we can't even see coming right now. Or it's way simpler. Species competitive enough to take over their planet necessarily destroy it while competing with each other for resources. Maybe there are runaway...
Wait a minute. But you told me that in another video that climate change was totally defeatable with laissez-faire neoliberal economics.
Runaway chain reactions in every ecosystem that once set in motion are not fixable.
Wait a minute.
And so once a civilization is powerful enough to change the composition of its atmosphere, they make their planet uninhabitable 100% of the time. Let's hope that that's not the case. If the filter is ahead of us, our odds are really bad. What we can hope for. This is why finding life beyond Earth would be horrible. The more common life is in the universe, and the more advanced and complex it is, the more likely it becomes that a filter is in front of us. Bacteria would be bad, small animals would be worse, intelligent life would be alarming. Ruins of ancient alien civilizations would be horrible. The best case scenario for us right now is that
I never liked the great filter theory because it presupposes that just because we can't see alien life, it must be impossible. Very arrogant if you ask me. Not really. It doesn't mean that. The idea is that because the universe is constantly expanding, maybe I'm misunderstanding it, but it means that right now, as we are alive, similar organisms could be very much alive at the same exact time, but for us to perceive them in any capacity, for us to understand their existence, they would have to travel through time for so many millions of years that they would be far gone by that point. It's not based on distance at all. Wait, no, like it means civilizations disappear before we can meet them. Did you just ignore the whole video? No, the great filter means that there is some event that ends every civilization before it gets to the intergalactic stage. It might just be that the simulating existence life. I mean, the great filter simplified is either we as human beings are going to encounter a all life wiping, all life ending event, or other priors, just like everyone else has, and then we are going to encounter it, or that we, like everyone else has encountered it and we lucked out. As long as humans can colonize other planets, moons, and humans will never go extinct ever. I think you are thinking about the expansion of the universe expands the area of the universe we cannot reach every moment. Yeah, that's what I was. But that is how it is, regardless of the great filter or not. Which is why I was mixing both. Am I wrong? Which is why there might be other beings right now alongside of us that are going through their time frame of the great filter, but the likelihood that we will ever see them is impossible because it has already happened. By the time we see it, by the time we would technically, theoretically experience it, it would have happened 10,000 or millions of years ago or millions of years in the future. It is arrogant. The fact that we can't see the aliens can simply just be due to them not being interested in being seen by us. No need for a great filter to explain this phenomenon. Maybe they're already in our galaxy, but they're so beyond our comprehension we can't perceive them, period. I mean, that's what I believe, yes. Why are we speaking about this? We are not scientists. What do you mean? This is like... The whole point of this is that it's a theory. And also, it's fun, I think, unless people take it super seriously and start getting upset. Ultimately, though, we have certain limitations that stop us. Like what kind of information that we can perceive, what kind of stimuli we can react to, our physical bodies, our lack of understanding of what it means to be a human, like consciousness and whatnot, being able to capture the essence of what it means to be human and being able to like recreate it and reproduce it. There's still plenty of unexplained phenomena here on this planet. And until we figure out certain issues, with space travel, and be able to put ourselves through that process, I mean, and even beyond that, there's still some issues. But until we do that, we don't really know anything. The aliens make fun of you for being afraid of the ocean? No, the aliens would respect me and want to have sex with me, but also from a point of respect for my fear of the oceans. The aliens are probably afraid of the oceans too. They'd be like, no, dude, there's some weird ass shit down there. They look like fucking aliens. What's that about?
Mars is sterile, that Europa's oceans are devoid of life, and the vast arms of the Milky Way harbor only empty oceans hugging dead continents. That there are billions of empty planets waiting to be discovered and to be filled up with life. Billions of new homes waiting for us to finally arrive. how likely is it that we'll find life outside of Earth that is similar to us? Well, that depends on how many planets there are out there in their star's Goldilocks zone, the area around a star where water can be liquid.
Chatter, think of it this way. If the first Homo sapiens appeared on a planet that is 350,000 light years away, only today would we be able to perceive it. That is, if light travels at the same speed throughout the universe. So that species would have evolved to our stage until now, supposedly. That's what I was talking about. That's what I was trying to refer to when I said they, like, our perception of beings due to the universe infinitely expanding is so far ahead that it already happened thousands of years ago, millions of years ago, potentially. And that's why so many chatters are saying wormholes, 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 which in theory should be able to help you traverse great distances without completely causing you to eviscerate your biological form, whatever you are, without completely changing you. That relies on a bad understanding of physics. Atomic Energy Act, okay, dude, you can't fucking hit me with the Atomic Energy Act of 1954 and Invention of Secrecy Act. That's how it's being kept hidden. And then turn around and go, that relies on a bad understanding of physics, okay? You can't say the dumbest shit possible in sequence and then come at me all contentious and then go, man, I just baited you, okay? Oh, I won. No, you didn't win anything. You won the stupid guy award. Okay, there you go. Take a week off. We'll see you in a week then, okay? How about that?
Because stars come in all sizes and configurations, this zone is different for every star system and requires a little bit of physics to figure out. If that sounds like fun to you, this quiz from Brilliant helps to break down the math.
Here, this is the other one.
Are we the only living things in the entire universe? The observable universe is about 90 billion light years in diameter. There are at least 100 billion galaxies, each with 100 to 1,000 billion stars. Recently,
sort of wrong if we're talking about our galaxy. Our galaxy is not expanding like that. That applies to between certain galaxies. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
We've learned that planets are very common too. And there are probably trillions and trillions of habitable planets in the universe, which means there should be lots of opportunity for life to develop and exist, right?
Why?
But where is it? Shouldn't the universe be teeming with spaceships? Let's take a step back. Even if there are alien civilizations in other galaxies, there's no way we'll ever know about them. Basically, everything outside of our direct galactic neighborhood, the so-called local group, is pretty much out of our reach forever because of the expansion of the universe. Even if we had really fast spaceships, it would literally take billions of years to reach these places, traveling through the emptiest areas in the universe. So let's focus on the Milky Way. The Milky Way is our home galaxy. It consists of up to 400 billion stars. That's a lot of stars.
Is wild because, like, we can't even fucking send a human through the asteroid belt into Mars and have them survive. And we're over here talking about, like, no, 100%, we got this. Like, we will fly away. It's easy, bro. Just let me at them. You know what I mean? Insane. Asteroid belt is beyond Mars. The asteroid belt is after Mars. My bad. We can't go beyond the asteroid belt.
Counting one per second, it would take you 100 lifetimes to count them all.
We're still manually resupplying the ISS. There's no shot we see permanent spacefaring missions and civilizations in our lifetime. Isn't there a... Am I wrong? Maybe if people, maybe if you people and people like you didn't criticize Elon so much, we could be on Mars by now. True.
There are about 20 billion sun-like stars in the Milky Way, and estimates suggest...
Bro, speaking of like making, like terraforming and making fucking other planets habitable, how about we make this one habitable? Okay? Even that's up for fucking debate. I'm losing my mind, dude. We are so, like, I love talking about spacefaring, okay, the final frontier and all this shit. But, like, bro, we were given a gift, okay? Like a once in a, like, billion lifetimes gift. And we're already fucking it up. Like, super hard. Okay? Motherfuckers be like, oh, we can maybe one day live on the moon. How about you live in Arizona over the fucking summer, okay? If you tried doing that, we can barely live in New Mexico. And you're over here talking about living on the fucking moon. What do you mean? What are we saying?
That a fifth of them have an Earth-sized planet in its habitable zone, the area with conditions that enable life to exist. If only 0.1% of those planets harbored life, there would be 1 million planets with life in the Milky Way. But wait, there's more. The Milky Way is about 13 billion years old. In the beginning, it would not have been a good place for life because things exploded a lot. But after 1 to 2 billion years, the first habitable planets were born. Earth is only 4 billion years old, so there have probably been trillions of chances for life to develop on other planets in the past. If only a single one of them had developed into a space-traveling super-civilization, we would have noticed by now. What would such a civilization look like? There are 3 categories. A Type 1 civilization would be able to access the whole energy available on its planet. In case you're wondering, we're currently around 0.73 on the scale, and we should reach Type 1 sometime in the next couple of hundred years. Type 2 would be a civilization capable of harnessing all of the energy of its home star. This would require some serious science fiction, but it is doable in principle. Concepts like the Dyson sphere, a giant complex surrounding the Sun, would be conceivable. Type 3 is a civilization that basically controls its whole galaxy and its energy. An alien race this advanced would probably be godlike to us. But why should we be able to see such an alien civilization in the first place? If we were to build generation spaceships that could sustain a population for around 1,000 years, we could colonize the whole galaxy in 2 million years. Sounds like a long time, but remember—
dude, easy, bro. Yo, let me at him, dude. That is, of course, if we have, like he said, generational spaceships.
The Milky Way is huge. So if it takes a couple of million years to colonize the entire galaxy, and there are possibly millions, if not billions, of planets that sustain life in the Milky Way, and these other life forms have had considerably more time than we've had, then where are all the aliens? This is the Fermi paradox, and nobody has an answer to it. But we do have some ideas. Let's talk about filters. A filter in this context represents a barrier that is really hard for life to overcome. They come in various degrees of scary. 1, there are—
Yeah, the Fermi paradox and the filter are
great
hand in hand.
filters,
No, I gotta take
and we
Kai
have
out.
passed them. Maybe it is way harder for complex life to develop than we think. The process allowing life to begin hasn't yet been completely figured out, and the conditions required may be really complicated. Maybe in the past, the universe was way more hostile, and only recently have things cooled down to make complex life possible. This would also mean that we may be unique, or at least one of the first, if not the first, civilization in the entire universe. 2, there are great filters, and they are ahead of us. This one would be really, really bad. Maybe life on our level exists everywhere in the universe, but it gets destroyed when it reaches a certain point, a point that lies ahead of us. For example, awesome future technology exists, but when activated, it destroys the planet. The last words of every advanced civilization would be, "This new device will solve all of our problems once I push this button." If this is true, then we are closer to the end than the beginning of human existence. Or maybe there is an ancient Type 3 civilization that monitors the universe, and once a civilization is advanced enough, it gets eliminated in an instant. Maybe there is something out there that it would be better not to discover. There is no way for us to know. One final thought, maybe we're alone. Right now, we have no evidence that there's any life besides us. Nothing. The universe appears to be empty and dead. No one sending us messages, no one answering our calls. We may be completely alone, trapped on a tiny moist mud ball in an eternal universe. Does that thought scare you? If it does, you're having the correct emotional reaction. If we let life on this planet die, perhaps there will be no life left in the universe. Life will be gone, maybe forever. If this is the case, we just have to venture to the stars and become the first Type 3 civilization to keep the delicate flame of life existing and to spread it until the universe breathes its final breath and vanishes into oblivion. The universe is too beautiful not to be experienced by someone. This video was made possible by your support. It takes at least 200 hours to make one of our videos, and thanks to your contributions on Patreon, we are slowly able to do more and more of them. If you want to help us out and get your own personal bird, for example, check out the Patreon page.
Yeah, thank you. Shouts out to Bill Gates, baby. All right, number 2.
There are probably 10,000 stars for every grain of sand on Earth in the observable universe. We know that there might be trillions of planets, so where are all the aliens? This is the Fermi paradox. If you want to know more about it, watch part 1. Here, we look at possible solutions to the Fermi paradox. So, will we be destroyed, or does a glorious future await us? Space travel is hard.
You must awaken. At HasanAbi, you need to learn the truth. Through meditation and astral projection, you can commune with them, and they can and will teach you the truths of the universe. It's an individual experience that one must go through to elevate your consciousness. Let me explain something to you. If what you are saying is possible, you're never touching Twitch, okay? Those two things don't go hand in hand. If it was possible to like astral project and learn from the aliens, your ass would never be on fucking twitch.tv, okay? No shot. Typing in chat with the rest of us mere mortals who have no capacity to astral project. So no, I do not believe you.
Although possible, it's an enormous challenge to travel to other stars. Massive amounts of material have to be put into orbit and assembled. A journey of maybe thousands of years needs to be survived by a population big enough to start from scratch. And the planet might not be as hospitable as it seemed from afar. It was already extremely hard to set up a spaceship that could survive the trip. An interstellar invasion might be impossible to pull off. Also, consider time. The universe is very old. On Earth, there's been life for at least 3.6 billion years. Intelligent human life for about 250,000 years, but only for about a century have we had the technology to communicate over great distances. There might have been grand alien empires that stretched across thousands of systems and existed for millions of years, and we might just have missed them. There might be grandiose ruins rotting away on distant worlds. 99% of all species on Earth have died out. It's easy to argue that this will be our fate sooner or later. Intelligent life may develop, spread over a few systems, and
We're built different, dog. No shot.
die off over and over again. But galactic civilizations might never meet, so maybe it's a unifying experience for life in the universe to look at the stars and wonder, where is everyone? But there is no reason to assume aliens are like us or that our logic applies to them. It might just be that our means of communication are extremely primitive and outdated. Imagine sitting in a house with a Morse code transmitter. You'd keep sending messages, but nobody would answer, and you'd feel pretty lonely. Maybe we're still undetectable for intelligent species, and will remain so until we learn to communicate properly. And even if we met aliens, we might be too different to be able to communicate with them in a meaningful way. Imagine the smartest squirrel you can. No matter how hard you try, you won't be able to explain our society to it. After all, from the squirrel's perspective, a tree is all that a sophisticated intelligence like itself needs to survive. So, humans cutting down whole forests is madness. But we don't destroy forests because we hate squirrels, we just want the resources. The squirrel's wishes and the squirrel's survival are of no concern to us. A Type 3 civilization in need of resources may treat us in a similar way. They might just evaporate our oceans to make collecting whatever they need easier. One of the aliens might think for a second, oh, tiny little apes, they build really cute concrete structures. Oh well, now they're dead, before activating warp speed. But if there is a civilization out there that wants to eliminate other species, it's far more likely that it will be motivated by culture rather than by economics. And anyway, it will be more effective to automate the process by constructing the perfect weapon. A self-replicating space probe made from nanomachines. They operate on a molecular level incredibly fast and deadly, with the power to attack and dismantle anything in an instant. You only need to give them 4 instructions. 1.
They did it. Hey, Bill Gates, coronavirus.
Find a planet with life. 2. Disassemble everything on this planet into its component parts. 3. Use the resources to build new space probes. 4. Repeat. A doomsday machine like this could render a galaxy sterile in a few million years. But why would you fly light years to gather resources or commit genocide? The speed of light is actually not very fast. If someone could travel at the speed of light, it would still take 100,000 years to cross the Milky Way once, and you'll probably travel way slower. There might be way more enjoyable things than destroying civilizations and building empires. An interesting concept is the Matryoshka brain, a megastructure surrounding a star. A computer of such computing power that an entire species could upload their consciousness and exist in a simulated universe. Potentially, one could experience an eternity of pure ecstasies without ever being bored or sad. A perfect life. If built around a red dwarf, this computer could be powered for up to 10 trillion years. Who would want to conquer the galaxy or make contact with other life forms if this were an option? All these solutions to the Fermi paradox.
The Matrix is real, brother.
Have one problem. We don't know where the borders of technology are. We could be close to the limit or nowhere near it, and super technology awaits us, granting us immortality, transporting us.
Bro, if there was a highly evolved thing that was capable of traveling through space and time to come here, and because they were highly evolved, they were like not interested in death and destruction and were capable of understanding us, we would pelt it with batteries if it landed in Philadelphia. Okay? Until it fucking died. I'm just saying.
To other galaxies, elevating us to the level of gods. One thing we do have to acknowledge is that we really don't know anything. Humans have spent more than 90% of their existence as hunter-gatherers. 500 years ago, we thought we were the center of the universe. 200 years ago, we stopped using human labor as the main source of energy. 30 years ago, we had apocalyptic weapons pointed at each other because of political disagreements. In the galactic timescale, we...
Wow, good thing that like all of those things have changed and we've evolved beyond them, right? 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 Good thing that's not, right? Yeah. Dude, the denuclearization agreement, the global denuclearization and disarmament agreement was so fire when it popped off in 2022. Yeah. So
we are embryos. We've come far, but still have a long way to go. The mindset that we really are the center of the universe is still strong in humans, so it's easy to make arrogant assumptions about life in the universe. But in the end, there's only one way to find out, right? Hey everybody.
Okay, dark forest, right? That's the... Where's that one? Hi, Hasan, nerd here. Traveling at light speed to a destination 5 million light years away would not feel like 5 million years to the traveler. It would feel instantaneous. This is a common misconception. What? Brother, your feelings are irrelevant in the matter. What matters is what happens to your body. Your body would literally still be going through 5 million fucking years. What do you mean? No, you wouldn't age? Yes, you would. That's literally true. If you're traveling light speed, the observer doesn't sense time. This is what Einstein said. Your observation on the matter doesn't change what would actually be happening. Wait, I want to know the... fuck, where's the other one? Congress said today, David Grush, the black cube with orb bubble around it. Oh, here, this is the one that I wanted to watch.
The universe is incredibly big and seems full of potential for life, with billions of habitable planets. If an advanced civilization had the technology to travel between the stars at just 0.1% of the speed of light, it could colonize our galaxy in roughly 100 million years. Which is not that long given the billions of years the Milky Way has existed. So, in principle, any spacefaring civilization should be able to spread rapidly over huge sectors of the galaxy.
Links are not allowed right now. I don't know why.
And yet, we see nothing, hear nothing. The universe seems empty, devoid of others. This is the Fermi paradox, which we've discussed in...
Son, you are so incredibly undereducated on the subject, you should just look it up instead of asking for chat. It's irrelevant because our current bodies literally not survive traveling at light speed. Look up time dilation. Even satellites have to adjust for it because their clocks are slower than the ones on Earth. Astronauts at the International Space Station age a few milliseconds slower. I just the problem is they still age though. Like astronauts age a few milliseconds slower, but ultimately it doesn't matter because they're on the International Space Station. They're not reaching light speed at all, which we currently physically cannot survive. The person traveling at the speed of light would experience a slowing of time for that reason. The time would move slower than for someone who is not moving. Also, their field of vision would change drastically. The world would appear through a tunnel-shaped window in front of the aircraft which they are traveling. You will never truly cease aging because you can't actually reach light speed. You will age slower, but it will never truly stop. Source, I'm a physicist. Shadow explain how in the movie Planet of the Apes, the actors travel at light speed. True. Moist is going to come out with the same take and everyone's going to agree with him. Probably. Sergey Kalev, who spent 803 days in space during the collapse of the Soviet Union, spent so much time away from the center of the Earth that he is 0.02 seconds older than everyone else born at the same time as him. Okay. Even if you theoretically were able to achieve light speed and not suffer, your human flesh somehow doesn't suffer, you would still, albeit very slowly, still age. And over the course of 5 million years, you would still absolutely perish, even if you were able to reach light speed to begin with without perishing, which you would, regardless. No, you wouldn't. You need to say 99.9% light speed. Okay. 99.9% of light speed. Not light speed. Okay. Is that better? No, you wouldn't. The craft would be in its own reference frame, and you would age depending on exactly how fast you're going. It's not useful to discuss full light speed because physics gets really wonky at light speed. At near light speed, hitting a grain of dust with a spaceship would be like hitting a nuke. Let's debate theories that scientists aren't even sure about as some himbos on the internet. Chatters, I'm very excited for you guys to hit light speeds. It's 5 million years for everyone outside of your ship, but for you, it'd be a small amount of time. If you don't have large amounts of acceleration and getting up to light speed would be fine. It would just take a while. Do the bullet trains in Japan instantly go 200 miles an hour? No, but look up time dilation calculator. You can get real numbers. The fastest speed any man-made object has ever went was 0.05% the speed of light. Okay, let's continue with this, and then we'll get back to the light speed thing in a second.
Confronted with the seemingly empty universe, humanity faces a dilemma. We desperately want to know if we are alone in the Milky Way. We want to call out and reveal ourselves to anyone watching, but that could be the last thing we ever do. Because maybe the universe is not empty. Maybe it's full of civilizations, but they are hiding from each other. Maybe the civilizations that attracted attention in the past were wiped away by invisible arrows. This is the dark forest solution to the Fermi paradox. The way of life. The hunter awakes in his hiding place and carefully listens for suspicious noises from the thick undergrowth before he gets up. Another night has passed without incident. The forest is dark and full of fog. He considers calling out to
The math has been done on this. At 99.9% light speed, it calculates that time is slowed down to 4.47% of outside value. That means 4 years are experienced at approximately 65 days. So in that regard, it would, okay, so then 5 million traveling the distance of 5 million would still absolutely eviscerate your body at 99.9% of light speed. So the answer was that I was right from the jump. That is, of course, if we were even able to accelerate slow enough without perishing during the acceleration to 99.9% of light speed, and then decelerate slow enough without perishing on the other side. No one said 5 million light years? No, the original video said that. No, everyone said ultimately that because at light speed it doesn't matter, time is not moving, so you could go 5 million years and it would feel like a second. Which is still not true. Well, technically for light speed it is, but you're not light. You can't move at light speed. Light speed isn't 99.9% of light speed. It is true. Well, none of us can do any of this regardless, whether it be 99.9% or even 100%.
others to end his loneliness, but stops himself at the last moment. What if they are like him? All living things seek to survive, secure resources, and multiply. Their greatest obstacle are other living things that share the same objective. Competition between species favored the survival of beings with advantageous traits. Our ancestors were inventive, competitive, expansionist, and greedy for resources, which led them to winning the competition for our planet. Today, most other animals are so utterly at our mercy that we wipe out about a dozen species a day, just as an unintentional byproduct of how we like to run things. But humans are more than individuals. From us, cultures emerge that also compete with each other. Competitive and expansionary cultures spread faster and further and merge with, subdue, or destroy others. If we look at our history, it becomes clear we are dangerous. Not just to others, but also to ourselves. Our human nature has driven us to take over every corner of our planet, and soon we will look to the stars, both to expand our domain and ensure access to ever more resources. And then we might stumble upon others trying to do the same thing. It's likely that the competition of life also takes place on faraway planets, so it's logical to assume that an alien civilization that came to dominate their planet would be in some regards similar to us. But if they're similar to us, they too may be dangerous. The implication. As the hunter sneaks through the dark forest.
I can't believe that the main point of contention that we've gone so far away from originally in this conversation was that if aliens are capable of fucking navigating through space and time, they would have to still be able to achieve something close to light speed, maybe even faster. Who fucking knows? I don't know. Like things that we currently perceive as the laws of physics that we think are solid are still absolutely limited by our own cognitive capabilities. We are impaired by our own empirical observations. Those guys are not going to Iowa. Those guys are not going, oopsie, I just got caught by some fucking drunk pilot at a base near San Diego. That's my point. I'm glad we went through this like weird ass fucking 2-hour stun lock to arrive at my final conclusion, which was my original conclusion, which is that a species capable of that is just fucking ridiculous that like the American government captured them, okay? Or they fucked up and somehow were able to be even perceived by human beings. Do you understand why I'm explaining? We went through all of this. I forgot. This is one of those unique stun locks where it was such a ridiculous point of contention that like I even forgot why we got here in the first place. I hope all of the fucking naysayers originally who were like, no, dude, you don't understand. Like, aliens, we totally have made contact with them. You're so dumb. Like, they definitely came to me in my sleep and probed my asshole. Like, I hope you understand. Brother, with peace and love, the stun lock makes the helicopter stun lock look like a TikTok video. For the record, I think this was a very important stun lock to have.
All alone. He knows that there might be others like him. He can't know their intentions, if they are aggressive or not. The hunter knows he would kill to ensure his own survival, so he has to assume that they would too. And it might be that if he stumbles upon another hunter, the one that shoots first survives. None of this means that conflict is unavoidable. So far, the progress of the modern world seems to have made us more peaceful, not more violent. Maybe this is true for other civilizations too, that eventually progress means less conflict, not more.
Yeah, as is what clearly happened with us, you know what I mean?
Different alien civilizations also should vary from the mild and peaceful to the malevolent and militaristic. The existential problem we're facing is that when we meet others between the stars, we have no way of telling who is peaceful or aggressive and what their true intentions are. Similarly, they might not understand or trust our intentions, even if we tell them that we are peaceful. On top of that, if we did discover another civilization and they discovered us, the light years between us would mean years of communication delay. Both sides would be in a state of uncertainty, wondering if the wisest move is to just attack, because there's another serious issue: technological explosions and the first strike advantage. We don't know where the limits of technology are, but we do know how much technological progress matters in war. A few hundred or thousand years can turn conflict with uncertain results into a one-sided massacre. Caesar's legions would stand no chance against Napoleon's army with their cannons and muskets, which would be eradicated by artillery from the First World War, which would not stand a chance against today's drones and guided missiles. So the power level of different civilizations may vary massively, and even if not, between the time it takes us...
Except it would, once again, I just want to point something out here. Once again, it would not be the difference between fucking the Roman legionnaires versus Obabe's drone strikes, okay? It will be the difference between a fucking amoeba and like some unexplored territory of non-conventional technological weapons that you can't even imagine. The coughing baby versus the atom bomb, if you will. Okay?
To detect another civilization and us saying hi, we might already be hopelessly behind on the tech tree. Which is bad enough, but the nature of interstellar conflict makes this worse. If your opponent is light years away, sending an invasion fleet takes so long that by the time it arrives, it might be hopelessly obsolete. So war between civilizations might be just about eliminating the other to remove an existential threat to yourself. Someone else who might be so scared of you that they attack the first chance they get. In this environment, the only way to guarantee a win is to strike with such force and speed that the target has no chance of survival or time to counterattack or escape to seek revenge later. The stakes are the highest possible, with no room for error. If we assume that the majority of civilizations live on planets, that leaves them pretty vulnerable. All you need to do is throw something massive at a planet to make it uninhabitable. So the ultimate interplanetary annihilation weapon is probably something like a relativistic kill vehicle, a missile shot at a planet at a significant fraction of the speed of light. For example, a missile the size of a person going 95% the speed of light has as much energy as all nuclear bombs on Earth. If you shot a few dozen at the civilization you wanted to wipe out, success would be fairly certain. Even a single hit would suffice. This is not that absurd of an idea. A civilization only slightly above us on the Kardashev scale would have enough energy to send multiple strikes against every planet it suspects of harboring life. What makes these weapons so sinister is how much they favor a first strike, since they would be so fast that it might be impossible to protect yourself effectively against them once they're launched. Conflict between civilizations may not be lengthy affairs, but rapid winner-takes-all situations, where the first one to shoot wins. This makes any civilization an existential threat to any other.
That's why I always keep that fucking thing on me, brother. You know what I'm saying? First strike rules, baby. It's called rules of engagement. You understand me? It's called, right here, see what this is? 556 NATO. You understand? 556 NATO, brother. That's how I roll, brother. No aliens coming after me, motherfucker. I'll shoot it. Yee, yee. Bet you them goddamn aliens don't have a Second Amendment right. A God-given right. Fucking destroy them pussies.
And if every civilization is an existential threat to every other, there may be only two kinds of civilizations out there: quiet ones and dead ones. So, what should we do? Should we worry? It's unlikely that anybody has noticed humanity yet. The radio signals we've transmitted in the last 100 years traveled a relatively tiny distance and have long decayed into unreadable noise. At our technological stage, if we don't actively try to get noticed, and if nobody specifically looks at our pretty unremarkable solar system, we'll stay hidden. But one day we will venture into space in a serious way and need to consider these kinds of questions again. We don't know if there are others or if we are going through the forest alone. But we have no way of knowing for sure. For the time being, it seems the best we can do is to carefully listen. And even if we see others step into a clearing and make themselves known, we should not reply right away, but carefully watch them from the undergrowth. Perhaps we are also thinking...
I love the idea that, like, we can sneak up on these motherfuckers, you know what I mean? We'll just, like, carefully observe them from a distance. Bitch, if you're anywhere near them from an observable point, they already know you're there, okay? It's just, this is such a, anyway. But of course, guys, of course, that's why they come in to San Diego and are seen like in the Tic Tac situation. You know what I mean? Like they came to San Diego and they got caught by our brave, beautiful Air Force veterans. Okay, they got them caught. They put the biological matter in a laboratory. They just fucked up. Guys. Okay. And the government was hiding this information from us. But now, due to some brave, beautiful, bold military veterans, okay, the sexiest and the boldest, okay, finally, and a guy in a group of bipartisan congressional members, including a guy that says, daggone it, we now know at the top of the hour there's a 3-minute ad break. Okay, the secret's out there. Now, it's not about whether or not the top of the hour ad break exists. It's about what you do with that information. Okay? And what you do with that information is, dadgummit, you fucking subscribe. $5 or for free with a Twitch Prime, okay? You subscribe. That's what you do. At the top of the goddamn hour, you subscribe. I think I'm not even joking. I think my most important, prescient, best point so far in that entire analysis was thinking that a guy that says, dadgummit, you guys are brave and bold veterans for revealing these national security secrets, was genuinely excited at the prospect of these guys revealing said secrets, okay?
Thinking about this all wrong by allowing our primitive brain that evolved in the context of the gruesome competition of life to conjure fears of predatory aliens all around us. Maybe the fact that we are looking at the universe like this is a sign that we are not grown up yet as a species. There could be a friendly, welcoming community of alien civilizations waiting to hear from us when we are ready. As for now, the good news is there is actually little we need to do. We just need to be thoughtful about the signals we send out into the galaxy. We need to watch the sky and learn more about our galaxy, our forest. Because whatever the nature of our forest is, full of dangers or friends, or nobody at all, only careful observation can tell. So, let's do that. At last, the hunter reaches a clearing and finds a comfortable position. Slowly, the sun melts the fog away. Lost in thought, he admires the vegetation until suddenly...
Someone is now resorting to shoving their fucking chew toy, a rope, directly onto my leg. I wonder who that someone is. Who might that be? Somebody is a little bored. Okay? Somebody's a little bored. They gave up and laid down on the ground and started chewing on their own.
He is eye to eye with another hunter, frozen in terror, just like himself. His mind is racing, considering all the different options. The hunter takes a deep breath and makes a decision. Maybe the only way out of the dark forest is to step into the clearing together. And with this hopeful picture, we say goodbye to the year 12,021 of the human era. It was a wild year to say the least, still much more fun than 12,020. Kurzgesagt had its most successful month.
Okay, yeah, good ending. Okay, we got it. I think we figured it out. I was right. That's what we figured out. Okay, thank you for coming to my TED Talk. It took 3.5 hours, but you guys are fucking silly. Sorry to poop on your parade, okay? Now it's time for Johnny Harris to tell us why